the president has used his office for his own personal gain.
For 2 weeks, a dozen current and former officials have laid out a clear case, testifying that President Trump used the promise of a White House meeting and a freeze on hundreds of millions of dollars of military aid to pressure Ukraine's new president to announce an investigation into a 2020 opponent, Joe Biden, and Biden's son, running the shadow foreign policy through the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
Mr. Giuliani demanded that Ukraine make a public statement announcing the investigations. Mr. Giuliani was expressing the desires of the President of the United States.
President Trump making that quid pro quo explicit in a July 25th phone call with Ukraine's President Zelensky.
I was concerned by the call. It is improper for the President of the United States to demand a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen and a political opponent.
That same day,
the Ukrainian embassy staff asked what is going on with Ukrainian security assistance.
A day later, the president was on the phone with U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland.
You heard President Trump ask Ambassador Sondland, is he going to do the investigation?
Yes, sir.
What was Ambassador Sondland's response?
He said, oh, yeah, he's going to do it. He'll do anything you ask.
He was being involved in a domestic political errand, and we were being involved in national security foreign policy, and those two things had just diverged.
Mr. Trump also pressed Zelensky to look into a conspiracy theory shifting blame for 2016 election interference onto Ukraine, a disinformation campaign that Russia has perpetrated for years.
You know, the FBI's never gotten that server. That's a big part of this whole thing. Why did they give it to a Ukrainian company?
Are you sure they gave it to Ukraine?
Well, that's what the word is.
This is a fictional narrative that has been perpetrated and propagated by the Russian security services themselves.
Now House Democrats are moving forward on an impeachment report, and the president has been reaching out to Republicans ahead of a Senate trial, hosting lawmakers for lunches at the White House and weekends at Camp David.
Frankly, I want to try.
Just a few weeks ago, Senate Republicans appeared divided about whether to target Hunter Biden.
I've tried to resist turning the Senate into a circus. I don't want to go after Joe and Hunter Biden because people are mad that Trump's not getting a fair deal in the House.
But now they're asking for documents and more.
The vice president's son was serving on a board that was run by the dirtiest guy in the Ukraine.
I am disappointed, and quite frankly, I'm angered by the fact he knows me. He knows my son. He knows there's nothing to this.
Hello from Washington, I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.